Welcome to note-taking accommodations.
So for this accommodation for note taking, this specifically covers recording class lectures. And if you have that accommodation to record class lectures, which means you have the right to record your class. So you must be approved for that accommodation. And you can see if you are approved by looking at your letter of accommodation. This was given to you in the beginning of the semester. You must notify your instructor that you are intending to use it and will be recording the class. So make sure you have a copy of that letter. If you don't have a copy of that letter, it's really easy to get one. You can stop into the DSPS office or email the DSPS office. Recording is for educational purposes. If for any reason an instructor, after you've notified them and showed them the letter, if they make a statement that says like, hey, listen, I understand, but I'm not going to let you record. I don't want anyone to record my class. Or they make a statement in the beginning of the class that says no one's allowed to record this class, and then you show them the letter and they still say no one's allowed to record this class. Listen, don't argue with them. Don't try to push the subject with them. Just come into DSPS and talk with the counselor. Let the counselor know what's going on so that you we can actually address that with the faculty and let the faculty member know what the right of accommodations give you as a student. But in most cases, instructors have no problem. Very few times does this ever come up, but just to kind of give you an idea about what you can do if it does. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about note-taking. The note-taking problem. Is it a problem? I mean, if you're here today, maybe there is a lot that happens during class that you need some help with. Note-taking is not an easy skill to learn and even to master. Even the best note-takers in the world are not going to capture everything that happens in the class. And the reason is there's so much that happens in that class, and all classes are a little bit different, but most of them generally have some elements that are in common. So for one, there's a visual information that is usually being presented to you in class. This is information that's on the board or on the projector, in the slides, maybe charts or diagrams, things like that, that you've got to be able to see and use, right? So that's one aspect of the note of the class lecture. The other would be the instructor themselves, standing in front of the class or behind the desk or behind a podium giving the lecture, and you've got to be able to process that information as well. And some instructors have very fast-paced, lecture styles, or very slow pace, right? Which makes it sometimes makes it hard as well. Or there may be accents involved or classroom noise involved, or other types of issues that are going on, maybe some hearing loss, maybe tinnitus, things of that nature, or just attention issues. So I'm trying to stay focused on what the lecturer is saying at the same time as you're trying to read what's on the board. All right. So there's also reading and processing, right? So you're trying to read what's on the board in the slides. You're trying to process what that is about, trying to listen to what the instructor is talking about, and all this while you're trying to figure out what's important. What do I have to actually write down, right? Which brings us to the next part where you actually have to write it down. You've got to decide, bring all this information in, and then decide, what do I really need to write? How do I write it? Do I write it big? Do I write it small? Do I use my colored pencils? Do I use this paper or line paper or some other type of note-taking a format? There's a lot of different ways to write notes. Am I going to write it in an outline? Am I just going to write bullet points? Do I not have enough time to even do that? Because everything is happening all at once, and that leaves you in the middle, right? Trying to process all of that at the same time, and then come up with usable notes that you can look back on after the class and go, okay, I remember there was a lot going on, but I tried to do my best to capture it on. But you know what? There's a lot missing here. And that's the problem. That's the problem is those missing elements can be really important, and they can be very frustrating as you are attending this class. And this isn't in all classes, but there are definitely going to be some of your classes, a lot of your classes that will look like this, right? So what can we do for you as far as an accommodation? I'm going to show you two different apps that take this environment into account. These apps were created for note-taking and capturing as much information as possible.